Hello everyone, and welcome to another Learning Live. We are live. We are here in the moment. I hope you are all doing well. I'm just trying to get my phone hooked up to my camera so that I can zoom as I need to. I never seem to have enough time to get it all ready, but here we are. Hello everyone who's tuning in. Hello Diane. Hello Debbie. Hello Jan. Feel like I'm on Romper Room saying hello to everybody. Only those of us of a certain vintage will understand that reference. But yeah, good times. So we are back from Scrap Fest, and one of the things that we showcased at this event was the Snap and Spin, or sometimes called Snap and Slide, depending on what packaging you have. These cute little buttons that you can make slider cards super easy. I mean, back in the day, we used to hoard our pennies. We used to make little discs out of cardstock. We used to do all the things. But Pear Blossom Press has made it super easy with these little devices. And I think I may have shown them before. I know we've used them a few different times. But I had so much fun over the last few weeks making samples and showing you different ways that you can use these snap and slides. That I thought I would do it here tonight. We'll just give it maybe another 30 seconds or so for people to join in, and then I will go down to my desktop camera. So the other part of what we are using tonight is Lawn Fawn. I am a huge Lawn Fawn fan right from our very first trade show as store owners, where I got to take a class and Matt and I sat down with the one and only Jen Shirkus to learn about the entire world of Lawn Fawn. I have been hooked. I would say a good third of my personal collection is Lawn Fawn. And it's everything cute. It's everything whimsical. It is wonderful for scene building. It really fits right in my wheelhouse. You know, we all have our thing, and for me, Lawn Fawn is that thing. So lots more people joining in. Hello, Joan and Donna and Ellen and Christine. And I've already said hello to a lot of the rest of you.
What would be my thing then?
What is Matt's thing? He's asking from the outside. I don't know. Matt obviously is not a crafter, so what would be his thing? His thing would be bringing in treats. His thing would be bringing in special buys. And his thing would be, well, he says he is a self-professed grumpy is what he just said. But I guess golf. Golf is his thing too. Ellen says, plus we have the new release from Lawn Fawn this week. That is correct. Matt's going to work on getting that all set up while I am crafting with all of you. And hey, if you guys are good, Joan says, hello, Matt, you're hiding. So yes, he is hiding. If we don't go too long, I can share with you just a little sneak peek of some of the samples that we've received from Lawn Fawn. All right, so it's a little bit of Wing It Wednesday, even on a Tuesday, but I've got the ideas up here, and we're just gonna go with the flow. We're gonna play with a bunch of different things. So let me just switch over to my desktop camera. There we go. Obviously, you guys can hear me and see me okay, so that is a good thing. Just had to move my mat over there a little bit. Not my mat in the other room, the mat that I stand on. And here are some goodies that I can show you. I'm going to start off with the samples that we showed at Scrapfest. Oh, now my camera disconnected again. Bear with me 1 second. Let's get this zoom hooked up so that I don't have to reach above. Join. La la la. It's thinking. So this was our make and take at Scrapfest this year, and we made this cute little slider card. We played with coloring stencils and learned a lot about Lawn Fawn and about sliders. And again, those cute little snap and slide buttons, as I'm going to call them. Another sample card that I made, and now this looks like it is hooked up, so let me see if I can zoom in without. Did that get closer? There we go. So this is the, and I apologize, I am not going to remember any of these names, but this is the cute little lawnmower stamp set that Lawn Fawn gave away last April Fool's Day, saying that they were getting in the lawn business, but then we got to offer it to those of you who don't order direct from Lawn Fawn. I think it was last summer. So Ellen says she loves the clouds from Lawn Fawn. Yes, all of the clouds is likely going to be one that we are using tonight. So anyways, that's that little lawnmower guy. He's super cute. Played with the bubbles. And you know what? There are the coloring stencils, but I really enjoyed getting out my my Copic markers and doing some coloring. So maybe that is going to be a learning live of the future, and get a little bit into coloring. This one here, this little paper airplane guy, and Ellen said she loved the cloud dies. I love the cloud stencils and creating my own stencily background. So this little guy just goes wee, and he's blowing in the wind. That was a fun one. This one is an oldie but a goodie. It's called You Are Clawsome, or some variation of that, and it's the claw machine. But we've put that little hook, the claw itself, coming down from the top of the machine on that slider, and it's fun. Those of you who know me know that I love my lighthouses and all things nautical, so I absolutely had to do a sailboat slider, and I have saved my absolute favorite for the last. This is from a set called Crazy Antics. I love your crazy antics, but they're here. I've got the little ants carrying the picnic basket away. It is absolutely my favorite sample that I made. Now, if I were to do this again, I think I would put 2 snaps on it so that it doesn't rotate, but I just love how that turned out. So we're gonna continue playing with the scene building tonight. We are going to, I'm not going to use a lot of die cuts tonight. I'm going to use more stencils. I've got my grassy stencil and my cloudy stencil here to do some ink blending for the background. And because I did so much coloring for these samples, I actually have a fair number of little critters here that we can use for a scene building. And I'm going to mix and match a lot. So we're just going to go a little bit crazy, have a lot of fun, and work on that. Ellen said she used to spend so much money on those claw machines. Maybe we need to get a claw machine in the store that you can win a crafty goodie. Matt's hearing me say this, and you know we're not even gonna let him in on this conversation. So here's my plan. Here is my thinking. Like I said, I do have some goodies over here. I've got a little mouse that is flying a kite. I have some butterflies that I want to try and use. Where's the one that I was thinking of? I think it's this one here. Got a little, here, let me zoom in again as I pull things out a little bit more close. Ellen says, Matt, run and buy a claw machine. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. So here is our little mouse with the kite. We have a butterfly. I've got this cute little mouse that I may just fussy cut out if I can't find my dies. And then I've also got these guys colored, the rainbows and the suns, and lots of things. So I think there's a lot of little pieces, and that's the beauty of a lot of the Lawn Fawn characters, is that they're all sized and scaled. so that they will work together. And you don't have to just use one set. You can use a number of different ones. I'm going to see if I can go midway here. There we go. A number of different sets together on your scene and just really create something really darling. And it can be a little bit of a labor of love, but it is also a lot of fun. These are just some more. You never know, I may pull them out. But whenever this is how I prep. When I know I'm going to be playing with Lawn Fawn, I will stamp out a bunch of images, sit in front of the TV and color, and then just keep them all together and pull them out as I need them. So, and before I get too much further, let me just talk about, bless you, Matt. Let me just talk about the main die set that we are using. This is a die set called Slide On Over, and it's got all of these different tracks, if you will, for creating your slider card. We'll pick the right one when the time comes, but this is the one that if you get nothing else, if you want to do sliders, that and the Snap and Spins are the best tools that you can have in your stash to give you the ultimate in flexibility. All right, so those are going to go aside. We are going to start by kind of prepping our scene. And because I know I have butterflies and paper airplanes and kites and things, I know that I want cloudy skies and I want grass. So let me pull out my stencil mat. I've used this a lot the last few times I've done Learning Lives with you guys. So it's getting lots of love. This little guy here is just usually where I put my ink pad. Make sure I put those covers in a safe spot. And I am just pulling out a single panel A2 size, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I think because of all the different things that maybe I don't know. It's always the hardest. Let's try horizontal. If it doesn't work out, hey, you know what? Here's an idea. I'm gonna do two. I'm gonna create two backgrounds. One's gonna be horizontal. One will be vertical, and then we have them both done while we have everything out in order to create our scene. So I'm going to start with the grass because I know the clouds are going to go kind of in behind. I want to make sure that I have enough space for my grass. So it's always best to do that first. And this is the grassy stencil. We do have curved versions as well as this straight across one. I'm actually going to be a little weird, and I'm going to start off pretty low on my paper. Let me just zhuzh it in here. And just for added reassurance, I am going to put a piece of tape on here as well. This one's a little odd, so you see all the spiky bits, but that's what's going to be the ink, so that's why I want the openings down. This is probably easier. So you can see all those openings are down, and I am intentionally going on that jaunty angle because I'm going to do a couple of layers and give it a nice little kind of dimensional hillside look. So just to make sure, I'm going to just stick that down, and I'm going to dig out some green ink. Yes, absolutely, I could use Lawn Fawn ink, but I have not put my 49 and Market ink away yet from the weekend, so that's the one that is handy. All right, let's do some grass. Just get my green blending brush, ink it up, and I'm going to start on the stencil and blend over onto the paper. So just lightly blend. Nice and light. I can always build up color after the fact. Make sure that it doesn't wiggle too much. Get some nice inky ink on here, and yes, there is still lots coming on the stencil here, so bring that down, scoop it down into your paper, and there is one layer. Just like that, one layer of grass is done and ready. Ta-da! But now I'm going to angle it slightly the other direction maybe offset it a little bit. Maybe I'll flip to the other side because they're not perfectly symmetrical. So this will give me some different grass as well. And this was going to now start to look a little bit more even across. And this one I'm going to try to be very light-handed so that it looks like a layer, that they doesn't blend in together. This is more of that background. And if you have any questions about what I'm doing, please do jot them in the comments. Happy to answer those questions. But sometimes you get lost in the creative, and it's easy to not pay attention. All right, so there is my grass. That's a little weird looking. I wonder if I maybe didn't do that right, but there's no right or wrong in crafting, right? And then let's do this last one right straight across. I have flipped it back to that original orientation, and just gonna do a really light layer here. That little spot's not filling in nicely. There we go. Just like that. So there is kind of my grassy backyard. It could be a park. It could be any number of things there, and just gives you such great dimension. Now before I put the green away, Tara says looks good to her. That's awesome. Thank you, Tara. Tara does a lot of Lawn Fawn too, so I definitely appreciate her expertise. Let's now go and do the vertical one. That one's got a little bit of a mark on it, but no big deal. All right. So again, we're going to go from the top, come down. And this one I could probably do a few more layers. That piece has something weird on it. But guess what? It's just paper. So let's just swap it out. Luckily, I have a stash of paper here cut and ready to go. Save that other one. I can use it for stamping sentiments, or even just trying some different color combinations on it. And this is green jean that I'm using, and really just the one shade of green is doing all my different layers. These are my little templates from last week. Make this front layer nice and dark. All right. There's one. Come on. Come on, fingers. Let's do this one. We'll do a little bit wider because we're going to cover a bit more area. Nice and, well, a little bit lighter. So we look like we're doing those different layers of the lawn. And then we'll go back. Oh, my stars. There we go.
Having a day, are you?
Well, just my fingers aren't working. Matt said, "You're having a day, are ya?" Yep, sometimes those fingers just don't work the way they're supposed to. The idea is going. Tara says that's why paper has two sides. And what's this comment above? Oh, Faye said, "I asked on Friday if you'd be doing one of these lives. I am so glad I caught it. I bought the flying mice and the little mower. Did it just last night, but was real happy with the way it turned out." Faye, you have just made me so happy. So thank you for sharing that. All right. All right. So here we are. Do we need one more layer of grass? No, I think this is pretty good. But look how realistic, and all it was this. So after class, as it will, I will go and clean this off. If I were to be making even more cards and it was starting to get inky, this is where I would get out my rubbing alcohol spray. Just give it a little spritz. The rubbing alcohol dries much faster than water, and really goes a long way to clean up your stencils. But for now, It's just going on the side of the wall here beside me so I don't layer everything up and lose it. Okay, next up is our clouds. So tonight I'm using the Lawn Fawn Cloudy Stencil. We also have, I think, the waffle flower version, and we have used to have the MFT version. Any cloudy stencil will do. The waffle flower one and this one, I believe, are similar in that you've got different clouds on the 4 different sides. So you can get lots of different cloudy elements without having more than one stencil. So I tend to start at the top. So let's go here. And this is going to be the opposite of the grass in that I want this top area. Your clouds are going to be white. What you are actually stenciling is the sky behind the cloud. It's the sky behind the cloud. So if you think of it that way, that it's not so much about the cloud itself, it's the sky behind. To me, that helps visualize what it looks like. I think I'm going to start a little bit darker in the background and do a little bit lighter in the foreground. So I'm starting with Tranquil Waters. Get out my blending brush. And again, I'm going to start on the stencil and roll over onto the paper. Start on the stencil and roll over. And if you are light-handed, which is not usually like me, sometimes it's a little bit hard to see. So this is where you might want to kind of go, ooh, peeky, peeky. Oh, that's looking good. Or if you need to add more, you can add more as well. Let me just now pick this up. And I'm actually going to rotate 1/4 turn. No real reason other than that's what I'm deciding to do. And I don't want my bumps to look like they're all kind of marching in a row. I want to move it over so it looks a little bit more organic. Melissa said she just got this stencil not long ago. Definitely try it. Stenciling is, it's right up there for me with coloring. I love creating these sky backgrounds and playing with different color combinations. Ashley, who volunteers with us, makes some beautiful skyscapes and has some gorgeous color combinations. So they are lots of fun. So again, remember, we are coloring the sky behind the clouds. So don't go and fill in all of this area. Just keep it light. All right. And look at that. I'm going to do one more layer. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go 1 more 1/4 turn. This one's got some nice small bumps, but I am going to come down quite a bit further. And this time I'm going to switch to a lighter shade of blue. This is called Frosty from 49 and Market. And before I do, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to rub it on my cloth just to get the excess of that darker color. Typically you would go light to dark, but of course I didn't do that. So I just want to make sure that there's as much taken out of that brush as I can. The fact that I'm reusing brushes is actually kind of a big thing for me. I tend to use the foam because I'm too lazy to try and sort out which one is which. And this is one where it is a lighter blue, so it may not look like too much is going on here. I'm even having trouble seeing it and I'm right here beside it. But if I do this, ta-da! Look at how nice that is. And then this is where I may just add a little bit in the corners. And yeah, it's still not showing up very well. And in reality, this is how you, I should show you this because this is really what this, one of the beauty parts of this stencil. Okay, I said I wasn't going to clean it, but now I am. Because I want to show you something fun. So, come on, alcohol. There we go. Matt's going to say I'm going to get fumes in here again. Not going to use the alcohol as much as I did last time. Clean that off. So you remember how we went this way? Well, we're going to do it the opposite way. Except my cloth won't hang up properly now. Alright, so let me try and figure this out. So I can go like that. And do you see what just happened? I've now covered up the grass. So I can go in here with that blue and not worrying about muddying up my grass. There we go. Here we go. All right, so love, love, love. Okay, that's our vertical. Let's go back to our horizontal. I will say with the cloudy one, it gets a little tricky because fitting across that horizontal can sometimes be a challenge. But we are all creative. Let's make this stick. And we can make this work. So this time, let's go this way. And you can see that it really is edge to edge. And you do have areas kind of peeking out. So just be careful when you're blending. And if you are afraid that you're going to get ink where you don't want it. And actually here, I'm going to do the reverse. Let's go down here. I can just cover that up with tape to further mask it. There we go. Okay, so I'm going back with the lightest one so that I don't have to clean the brush again. This is the do as I say, not as I do portion. All right. So there's some nice light sky. Whoops. Gentle. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. And I'm going to go back to my darker blue so this can switch. Because I'm now going light to dark, I don't have to clean my brush. Let's go here. And just be careful on this side. So. And you don't want to go all the way up because again, we want to still have some clouds. And then nope, that's not the one I started with. So let's go over here. Make sure it's stuck and we'll finish this guy off. Clouds are so freeform and exciting and easy to make that you could really just make an argument for any of these sides, any of these color combinations. Look at that. Look at that. You know what, guys? We may have to make 2 cards tonight because so stinking cute. Okay, so now our stenciling is done. And you know what? As I said with the coloring, stamp a bunch out in color. You could do the same with this. Cut a whole bunch of pieces of paper and just do your clouds and grass. Then they're ready for whenever you need them to be ready. Okay, so I'm going to get my little pieces out. I do have to die cut. I'm going to die cut a rainbow and a sun. And maybe some of those clouds, just so we have them ready, because they were not ones that I had cut ahead of time. Let's get this little guy out of the way. And get these guys out of the way. And let's cut one set of these. So I need a rainbow. And here we are, half an hour in, and we haven't even started our slider yet. Let's do a big cloud. Though, do we really need clouds when we have clouds? You know what? I'm not going to worry about the cloud. Let's just do the sun. And this will be always the hardest part, is getting them lined up. I think that's pretty close. Sorry if everything starts to jiggle. Oh, that's not too bad. And I'm just going to start kind of placing things. Nothing's going to be stuck down. And who knows, maybe these guys don't even get used in the long run. But we kind of need to have, you know, like that little rainbow over here on the grass. We've got the sun. And then I know I said I wanted my butterfly to be the thing that was sliding. So we've got him there. But then we also have our little mouse that I'm going to have to, I think I'll just fussy cut him. Or we could have the kite. But I think the kite and the airplane, now we're starting to get crowded. So what could we do? Let's move this mouse over here. And then we can have, so I colored him with a blue paper airplane. Oops. Move him over a little bit. There we go. And I could do this guy as the slider and this guy. So there's our little scene for this vertical one. I think works well. And then this one I can do the kite. So he's just going to be flying the kite on his own. But then we'll have the butterfly also part of the party. What do you guys think? What do you think? And then I do have this one sentiment, wishing you a carefree day. And I can also, oh, I do have this set handy, you know, you're just plain awesome. Would be fun for this guy here. And so I think this was my problem. This is the old style of Lawn Fawn where they still need to be snipped apart. So yeah, fussy cutting. Well, let's do this guy first and let's walk through the process. All right. Aren't they cute? I love them. I love them. Okay. So,
You feeling okay?
Matt's asking if I'm feeling okay. I am. I'm coloring, I'm stenciling, and I am playing with Lawn Fawn. What else could you ask for? Okay, so
$1 billion.
Matt says I could ask for $1 billion. So if anyone has that lying around, would love it if you would share. Okay, so what kind of direction do we want? Something weird happened here. Hold on a second. No. I don't know why. Bear with me a second. Hello? And let's go back to this. Why is this screen weird? Sorry, guys. You know. There we go. Now you get my whole desk. You don't need to see what's coming off my desk. Let's just keep this simple. So we've got all these different directions. I think with all the little critters that we want on here, this one might be a little bit big. So our butterfly is going to be taking up an awful lot of that. So I think we'll skip him, but maybe we'll just go with this one here that has a slight curve to it. And we'll go something like that. And at this point, we kind of have our card somewhat planned out. So I'm going to get rid of all of these extra little bits. And actually, even before I die cut, I'm going to trim this down just a smidge because we're going to put it on cardstock in behind. And I want that cardstock to show. So as much as I hate trimming out this beautiful stencil piece, we're just going to take a 1/4 inch from the bottom, or from the right, and 1/4 inch from the grass here. I hate to take it, but it's still going to look okay. And then I want this to be die cut like so. And let's just tape that on. So I'm going to die cut that shape out. And I'll give you a little tip as well for really making your piece look complete, which I did on some of my samples, but not necessarily all of them. But when you die cut and you've got this little piece that falls out of the die, don't throw it out. I'm going to take it with my tweezers and just put it over here in my little tray. Because what you can do is you can place it underneath the opening, and I'll show you how to do that. So that when the slider is not covering it up, you can still see kind of that background that you have created. Okay, so now we're really getting into the mechanism here. So right now we're going into logistics. We are going to not worry about our stamped images yet. We know this is going to be the butterfly, and this is where I'm going to dig out my snap and spins or snap and slides, depending on which packaging you have. They're both exactly the same, they're just called different. So we have two pieces. We have this piece here that has kind of the hole opening, the donut opening, and we have this piece here that has the little post. Does not matter which one goes on top or which one goes on bottom. I am simply going to put one in the opening. So I tend to use the post. It's a little bit easier to find. I'm going to lay it over top like that. And then I'm going to do this. Snap. Easy peasy. Nope.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Peanut Gallery is getting a little chimey-inny there. But you don't need any powder tools. You don't need any adhesive. It is all ready to go. So now what you can do is take a glue dot. Do I have glue dots? I think my glue dots are still packed in the Scrap Fest. So otherwise, I'm going to take just a little teeny tiny piece of score tape and I'm going to put it right here on the button. Joan says, oh, so easy looking. It absolutely is. So just going to take a little bit, tear it off if I can. Come on. Okay, and if you can't tear it because it's not cooperating, snip it. I'm going to peel that backing. There was a little extra hanging over, so let me fold it, and I'm going to put my butterfly on. Alright, so the butterfly, like that. And look at him fly, look at him fly. So the main mechanism is done. We now just have to attach this to our base. So let's see what colors we have to choose from. I could do some blue sky, but oh, that blue doesn't, I think that even might be, no, that's blue. I think that's Cascade. I could do this yellowy green. Oh, that one looks kind of fun. Let's do that. So I'm going to cut that down to a full card panel. This is Peridot from Spellbinders. Whoops, not straight. So this is going to nest like so. This is where you want your foam strips. You could also use foam tape. I like the strips because I can bend them a little bit, bend them to my will, as they say. So I'm going to take a piece of foam tape and I'm going to lay it kind of out like this and bend it in that same curve. It's okay if it comes out this end. This is just going to give it extra dimension. You don't want to be too close. You need to make sure that that button is still going to move freely. So I'm going to grab a second one. And again, this time I might come a little bit more this way. And again, just bend it along the curve. It's really just to give it support. It's not even making a track necessarily. The die cut is making that track. But you really want to support along that that opening. And then I can just fill in the rest of the areas. So I can do a strip along the bottom. I can do a strip along the top. And then I'm going to do, will these fit? One on the end. Little bit too long. And you can use as much or as little foam tape now as you'd like. I like to make sure I've got good coverage, but you don't need to overdo it. Filling in the gaps with my little pieces. And then I think I've got over here, I always keep a little stash here on the side of my desk of pieces I have not used yet from when I cut them off. So just like that. And maybe, I mean, you could do a little bit more if you wanted to, but I think for tonight's purpose, that is good for what I need. So we're going to peel all our backings. Have them stick to your fingers. Okay. Now these snap and slides can be quite tall, but for the most part, as long as it's kind of running on the bottom of your card base, your card front, you don't need to do extra foam. You could, if you're using the wider foam tape, you could do a second layer if you wanted to, but I've been quite successful just by doing one layer and still having it move with no problem. So here I'm going to center it and lay it in place. And once again, look how nice he's moving even on his own. So now we can finish up our little scene. Open up my glue. And because we moved the other mouse, I think we could very easily still do our rainbow. Tuck that here in the grass. Let's put our sun. I'm not sure. Oh, no, he has to go. The sun has to go over here because the kite's going to go over there. But that can go up high. And maybe even hang off the edge just a little bit so it takes the scene kind of off the card. And then we've got our little mouse over here chasing the butterflies and flying the kites. And let's put the kite like so. Now this kite set I borrowed from Darlene, so I no longer have it, but on that stamp set, it's called Whoosh Kites. There was a stamp that you could use to actually make the kite string. Whoops, I didn't mean to throw that. I'm going to go in just with a journaling pen and draw in my own kite string. So the string could come down like so. And nobody would be the wiser that that was hand drawn. So there's our butterfly, our rainbow, and with the butterflies, I think it's fun when it does that little spinny action. And then we can just tuck our sentiment down here in the bottom corner. So let's go ahead and do that. So some fun scene building, mixing and matching our critters. Wishing you a carefree day. How cute is that? We still have, what's that say, 8:46. We still have 15 more minutes. So let's go ahead and finish our other card as well. And then I will, again, bring out those samples. Okay. Bear with me. I know there's that one. Then I need this one and this one. Let's see if I can snip those quickly, because I think a die cut would be much fancier, much cleaner than my fussy cutting skills. So I'm really glad that we do not have to do these with Lawn Fawn dies anymore. And I will definitely go back in later and clean these up so that nobody gets cut when they're using them. Where was the other guy? That was this guy here. Any questions, folks? The sliders really can be super addictive. They make interactive cards really easy. Especially now that we have the snaps, the buttons to make those move and slide just so easily. Again, back in the day when we did pennies and foam squares or foam dots, and you had to make sure that there was no adhesive on the sides. Oh, you know what? Okay, I'm going to finish die cutting. I forgot to show you how to put the little insert in. We'll do that afterwards. All right, so let's get these guys die cut since that's what I have out here on the table. But yeah, just so much easier now. I don't want to say it's technology because it's just that the supplies are getting better and getting easier, and I'm so grateful for innovative companies like Pear Blossom Press and Lawn Fawn is one of a kind. They've really honed in on what they're good at, the interactivity, the cute little critters, the scenes, and all the little elements that go with the scenes just make playing with them so much more fun. All right, let's die cut those out. For now, I'm just going to set them off to the side so that I can show you that insert piece. Sorry, I forgot about that. So back to our butterfly. You can see that background piece in behind. There is a really easy way to camouflage this. I will say it's easier before you put the butterfly on, but we can still do it. I'm going to use my tweezers. I know that the dark part of this piece is going to go at the top, and because that snap is not stuck down, you can really just slide that underneath. So I'm going to put just a little bit of glue. You just got to make sure that there's not going to be a lot of glue kind of oozing out, because that could affect the mechanism. But I'm just tucking it underneath, popping it into place. Little bit out of line there, and then you can actually use the snap to smoosh it down. So again, so it's not moving as freely, and I think that's just because there's extra thickness there. Maybe in hindsight I should have left it out, but you get the idea. I had some of these other ones that moved really nice, like I did it here on the picnic basket one, and it does move really nicely. So we just got to make sure it's down and it dries. And you can even go in just with like the edge of your tweezers. Just stretch that paper ever so slightly so that the snap is moving. There we go. He'll be flying again. Okay, back to our airplane. My pieces are here. Where did my clouds go? There they are. Okay, so this one I think I won't do a background. I'm going to leave it as the full A2 size. This time, let's definitely go with that curvy flying across the sky. Just make sure that you always have a nice little gap on either side so that your hole doesn't go all the way edge to edge. All right. box to the computer. Peel it gently. There's my little extra bit in here, so we'll see if we use that or not. And, oh, you know what? This would be the perfect, this would be the perfect opportunity to use this one that I made the boo-boo on, because it's not going to get seen. So I'm going to put this one as the base in behind. So let's grab our snap, our donut, and our post. Pop that on there. Pop that on there. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let's get some more strips. And again, this one you really want to curve it around your shape. But always test it. Make sure that that's not going to touch anything. Let's do the other one. Doesn't touch, nice and supported. Down one side. Down the other side. And then let's cut these into segments already so I can just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, maybe like that, 3, and then finish off here, here, and one lonely piece left. Let's go here. A little bit abstract on that, but you get the idea. Okay. The most time-consuming part is peeling all these backings. And so I will give you permission that you don't have to peel all the backings. Some of these internal ones are just for structural support. They're not actually to be stuck down necessarily. So this one I'll do, but these two inner ones I'm not going to do. These two I'm not going to do. As long as the outer perimeter and these ones by the track are done, the other ones don't need to be done. Okay, so let's line this baby up. Excuse my head if it comes on camera. There we go. And yes, I can go in afterwards. I didn't get it totally straight, so I can eliminate this extra little strip that's on the end. And now I need my little mouse, my flying mouse. Let's get that little piece of score tape. I would not use liquid glue on the snap. Snap and spin, Deanna, absolutely, they do both. She said she just picked them up at Scrap Fest, and I can't wait to see what you make with them, Deanna. So on these snaps, I would not use liquid glue just because they could ooze, and I don't know how well they'd sit on the plastic. Plus, then your critter may slide, not in the way you want it. And then, let's aim for right there. Okay. Then he's got his little friend. This little friend is getting ready to launch, so we'll just put that put him, maybe we'll come down low with him. And then just like when you hear me talk about doing embellishments in triangles, I'm doing these little guys in triangles. Put my dies sort of away. So I need this little guy. He's folding up his next one. So again, I've got little triangle here building with my critters. Make sure again that your critter's not going to block the track. You want to keep him good distance away. Like so. And if I had been smart, I might have stamped my sentiment ahead of time over here on this side. But since I was not, that is where banner dies would come into play, or even just a strip. I've got a nice, I've got this nice piece here. Let me stamp on that, trim it down. You are just, oh, and this one's even got a dad. Dad, you're just plain awesome. So if you need a Father's Day card, or Mom, you're just plain awesome, Mother's Day card, or just because, you know, we moms are awesome, and dads are awesome. But I'm going to keep...
If we don't say so ourselves.
If we don't say so ourselves, says the Peanut Gallery. Alright, so... With all that foam, I am not going to be brave enough to try and stamp that on there. But I can do this towards the bottom. Hold and let it sit. Pop it up. And then let's see if we can trim this nicely without a die. Ooh, pretty good, pretty good. So it's gonna go there. Let me dovetail. Just so it looks like we did it on purpose. And I think it needs another jaunty angle. And I need some more strips. Good thing I've got one big fat one here. And then all you need to do is take this whole contraption and add it to a card base. Ta-da! All right, let me make some space. We will show the samples again for those of you who tuned in a little bit later. But man, was that a fun hour or what? So if you have snap and spins in your collection, my homework for you is to get them out and use them. There's 10 pairs in a pack. You could make 10 cards. Like I said, maybe if you, because on, say, this one here with the picnic basket, I think I would have liked to have done a second one on here so that the ants aren't spinning all over the place. These are the two that we made tonight. Let me come back out. There we go. These are the two that we made tonight, and these were just a few others. The options really are limitless. I know a lot of, because of what we were stamping with and playing with, a lot of them are up in the air, but there's no reason why you can't have them down on the ground as well, like our little lawn mowing guy, our picnic ants. You've got ocean faring ones. Here's another version of that guy. And so there's another version of the clouds where I used a yellow kind of, I think that was pink sands, and then that light blue to kind of give it that sunset-y look. Our flying mouse and our claw machine. So those are the snap and spins. Those are Lawn Fawn. And hey, I promised you that if you stuck to the end, I would show you just a couple of little sneak peeks of what is to come on Thursday's release. So I'm going to be quick. I'm not even going to talk about them. Let's do a little. I mean, I know Lawn Fawn is doing lots and lots of Inspiration Week and all that kind of stuff. See if I can get this to work. Oh, I'm pulling the wrong thing. New interactive. Actually, just before this live, I was on a Zoom call with Lawn Fawn, learning how to put that interactive die together. Super easy. You're gonna love it. And then, all right. So that is that for the sneak peeks. That is that for our creations tonight. Let me pop back up here. Thank you for having fun with me tonight. I always love crafting with you, showing you new things, playing with all these things. And when it comes to Lawn Fawn and sliders and interactivity, this is right in my wheelhouse. So yes, I'm going to put it away for tonight, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be away for very long. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you are making things, please don't hesitate to put them in the Paper Crafts Inner Circle. L for Lawn Fawn, I think, is a couple of months away for our Alphabet Soup Challenge. But hey, I'm sure you could make it work. That's it from me tonight. If you have any questions about this, you know where to find us. And we absolutely love crafting with you. We will talk to you soon and have a wonderful rest of your evening.